half a day, and welcome to part 3 of the grading policy. This is the section on citizenship and life readiness skills. It's going to be a short segment just to kind of go over what has been changed. So this coming school year for citizenship and life readiness skills, we are going to be utilizing, it's going to be based on the criteria of engagement, where a student participates in class discussions, activities, ask and answer questions, and is on task either in person or on video conferences, depending on their model of learning or the event. Again, you want to know, are they actually engaged? Are they always actively engaged? Are they partially actively engaged? Or are they just never actively engaged, right? So you want that to be some of your criteria for your final citizenship grade. It's also going to be based on organization and planning. So do students organize their notes? Do they always have their supplies, their instructional materials with them? Do they plan out their assignments and activities? Do they use their time wisely? And do they meet these deadlines that you set for them in class, or, with assignments that they do have to do in terms of projects or things that they take home? It's also going to be based on the completion and submission of assignments. Again, this is all separate. We're keeping that separate from the grades. The student isn't going to be punished for not turning something in. They get that NE because they didn't turn something in, and obviously it's going to translate, if they continually do that, it'll translate into their citizenship grade, which actually will come down based on the criteria that we have, because they're not obviously organizing and planning. They're obviously not engaged if they're not turning things in. Well, they might be engaged, right? But again, it's going to bring their grade down in terms of the citizenship, because they're not completing their assignments, right? Do they do this regularly, and do they do this on time? It's going to be based on their conduct. Are they respectful and appropriate when they communicate with the teachers, their peers, or others? And this is in the online setting as well as in the face-to-face setting for the students. Okay. It's also on accountability. It's based on accountability. Do they follow school rules, and do they take responsibility for their actions? You do have some of those students who, they don't follow the rules, and it's not their fault that they're not following the rules, right? But again, based on accountability. And last but not least, it's also based on attendance and their punctuality. This may not apply necessarily. You kind of feel bad for those elementary students, especially who don't have control over getting to class on time when their parents drop them off. But for all students, do they attend class regularly, and are they on time? In the middle school atmosphere, they might be hanging out in the bathroom and coming to class late every single day. So taking into consideration all of these 6 criteria, depending on how you want to weigh all of those, you will end up coming up with a grade that is now based on categories, specific categories. 4 being excellent. Again, we're going to numbers. 4. 3 is satisfactory. 2 needs improvement. 1 is unsatisfactory. And N, if you don't have enough evidence, or in this instance, no effort is being made, then you're going to give that NE, and that can apply to everything. So the citizenship, you're going to want to, just to be fair, to really consider how you are going to determine their final grade, right? Again, you're using that teacher judgment, but if they're not turning things in on time, if they're not submitting things, but everything else they kind of, they do well in, they're respectful to others and so on, you kind of have to think, well, they're obviously not excellent, but they might be satisfactory, or you could put down needs improvement. It just really is up to teacher judgment in this instance. But at least when a parent says to you, gosh, why do they need improvement? You have these categories to say, well, obviously your child is not here, they've been absent regularly, and they just don't turn in their work on time, and they're really unorganized. So you have that way to really break it down for the parents, as opposed to those letters that we used to have, that we would place where it was, they were excellent, but we didn't have these categories to really help us as a district at least explain what we mean by their citizenship grades. Okay, And so that's it with our grading policy. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to your school site instructional coaches or district mentors. And we all hope that you have a really good year. I'm pretty sure I'll be seeing some of you online or at school sites along with some of your instructional coaches, just answering any questions that you might have in regards to the PSSTs or the grading policy. But in the interim, have an awesome school year, and thank you so much for tuning in. Have a good one. Bye.